Guys, you do not ever tamper with fire alarms out in public. You don't do that. You just can't. These are life safety devices. These are not toys. These were made to save people's lives because they alert people that the building is on fire and they have to leave immediately. So therefore, these things should never ever be messed with. I mean, if you want to mess with your own alarm, that is totally fine. But if you're messing with an alarm in a public building, that is not okay at all. So don't do that. Never unscrew the alarm off the wall, never screw it in more, never take the plate off the alarm, never paint the alarm, never take the strobe off the alarm, never take the horn off the alarm, never disable the horn or the strobe on the alarm, never adjust the volume, the pattern, candela, or tone on the alarm, never cut power to the alarm, never do any of that. That is not good. Remember, if you break the alarm, you're going to have to replace it, so don't do that. You never pull fire alarms for fun. Also, never open the alarm switch. If you pull the fire alarm for fun, you are going to get in big trouble. You are going to get fined, and you are going to get arrested. And you are responsible for putting other people's lives at risk if you pull the alarm for fun, because if you do that, then because the fire department has to respond to a false alarm, and there could be another emergency somewhere else, and the fire department, they cannot be at the real emergency because you pulled that false fire alarm. Because of you, people are dying. This is not okay at all. So this is why you never ever pull fire alarms unless there is a fire, or if you have permission to, or if you have them in your house that doesn't contact the fire department. This is very serious stuff. This is not a joke. Fire alarms are not toys. They are life safety devices, so you do not mess with them for any reason. Again, if it's your own alarm, you can mess with it, but if it's an alarm in a public building, you can't. You are going to get in big trouble if you pull the fire alarm or if you tamper with it. It is not a smart thing to do for any reason. There's a lot of people that are just as smart as I am, and they'll say never pull fire alarms for fun and never tamper with fire alarm equipment. A lot of my friends in school are just as smart as I am, and they know not to mess with fire alarms in public buildings. A lot of my classmates are just as smart as I am, and they will also tell you to never mess with fire alarms in a real building. Back when I was younger, this was 6 years ago, so I was 12. I was 12 years old, so I was not that young. But back in like 6th grade, one of my classmates that was in 3rd grade pulled the alarm because he didn't know it was a bad thing to do. He pulled the fire alarm because he didn't know better. I had a troublemaker in my class in elementary school. No good. That would set off the alarm as a prank. Now, other than that, and there were other kids in that elementary school that would set the fire alarm off as a prank. Not good. And a lot of my classmates in school went through the same thing where when they were in elementary, there were kids that were troublemakers inside of their elementary schools that pulled the alarm in the school. That pulled the fire alarm. Yeah, elementary schoolers are troublemakers. And they do stuff like this. Because they don't know better. How do you know when a kid is messing around in the hallways? Well, is when the alarm goes off, when there is no drill or anything like that. This is what happened in my elementary school, as well as the elementary schools that my other classmates were in. And some of them were in the same elementary school as me and went through this. But my classmates that were in other elementary schools, they went through the same thing as I did when they were in elementary, is when kids in their schools would mess around in the hallways and pull the alarms. Not good. Yeah. But if but if but if you pull the alarm in high school, you are definitely going to get arrested because it is not a toy. Why are kids pulling fire alarms in schools? Because they don't want to go to class, so they just pull the alarm just to get out of class. Not good. You don't pull that unless there is a fire, or if you have permission to, or if you have that thing in your house that doesn't contact the fire department. Other than that, you do not pull these things. I mean, these are not toys. These are very serious devices that save people's lives. So, therefore, you should not ever mess with fire alarms in any way. If it's your own alarm, it's fine, but if it's a public alarm, that is not okay at all. You should not be messing around with fire alarms in public buildings. You are going to get arrested if you do that. You are going to put people's lives in danger. Remember, this is the thing that is going to save your life if there were ever a fire. Heaven forbid there was ever a fire in a building. This thing will save your life, so you do not mess with this. These are not toys to play with. Again, if you have your own alarm, then you can play with it, but if it's an alarm in a public building, you cannot play with it. You leave it alone. It is there to protect the public. Guys, take my words of advice seriously, because if you mess around with fire alarms or any other life safety device in a real building, you are going to go to jail. I am serious about this. Don't tamper with fire alarms. Bye.